Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Established Run's NBA Injury Report Analysis Show. I'm Drew Dinkmeyer here with Mike Gallagher to walk you through tonight's three-game slate, a short one in the association, but an interesting one post-trade as the James Harden trade saga has concluded. The Clippers have acquired their main target, and they are on the slate tonight. So we'll talk through them and the other injuries on the slate. With me to do it, as always, Mike Gallagher. Mike, how are you?
Doing good. Nice little podcast with you. Working on a ridiculous matchups column tomorrow. Damn it.
13 games.
Yeah, 13. Yep. So it's going to be a long day today.
Yeah, long day for you today, long day for me tomorrow, doing a lot of projections work there. So all sorts of fun in the NBA as the schedule is condensed early in the season. We will have a day off a week from today. So for those marking their calendars, just note we will be off next Tuesday as the NBA is off entirely next Tuesday as well. I believe it's next Tuesday. Is it next Tuesday or next Wednesday? Am I confusing the days now?
Tuesday.
It's Tuesday, November 7th. Perfect. Okay. I do have my days correctly. All right, so let's get into the injury stuff for today. Let's start with New York and Cleveland. The Knicks injury report is clean. Cleveland on the other side is very, very dirty. Jared Allen out, Darius Garland out, Ty Jerome out, Ricky Rubio, of course, not with the team. And then questionable tags on Karis LeVert and Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell reportedly at shoot-around today. That news broke before the Karis LeVert questionable tag broke, which felt like they go a little bit hand in hand. This might be a situation where Cleveland is just trying to persevere through and get guys some rest when other guys are available and whatnot as they're really banged up. What is your read on the Cleveland Cavaliers today?
Yeah, so they get a home and home back-to-back with the Knicks. They'll be at Madison Square Garden tomorrow. That certainly seems like part of it. So I think it sounds like they're going to probably sit Karis today. Hopefully have him tomorrow. Mitchell playing. These guys got hamstring issues, man. Darius Garland still sounds like he's not close. He didn't practice yesterday. They're probably getting Jared Allen back tomorrow and not playing today. So I think they're going to miss him. I think they're going to probably go out there and start Okoro, Wade, Donnie, and then Mobley as well. And, we saw a little bit of Ty Jerome and those guys. But, this team's in, really bad spot with hamstrings right now. Or hamstrung even.
Yeah. They are hamstrung. There is no Ty Jerome tonight. So in terms of ball handling responsibilities, if they're down to just Donovan Mitchell and who else would they be comfortable ball handling? Do we get into the Sam Merrill, Craig Porter Jr. side of the equation? Like how bad does this get if they're without Ty Jerome, which we know, and then Darius Garland, which we know, and Karis LeVert, which we think could be headed in this direction, just reading the tea leaves.
Yeah, I guess they'd have to go Sam Merrill. Sam Merrill's more of kind of a 2 than a 1, but he had a really good summer league. I think they'd have to play him. Again, this is if no LeVert's out there. If they have LeVert and Donovan, they'll be covered. If they only have one, they kind of have to play him there. That's really it for the ball handling department. And they'll probably see Craig Porter Jr. jump in there as well. But, yeah, it could be real thin. National TV game, right? And I don't think they're not national TV tomorrow, so – again, I'm not expecting Darius Garland to play in either game. There was some commentary saying that he couldn't get to the top speed. We saw him come back from a hamstring injury perhaps too soon. He's been out really since the weekend. So, yeah, we should see really condensed rotations as well. So there could be big roles. Max Strus hasn't really been an on-ball guy, in the NBA, but he kind of was in Summer League. He actually ran out a decent amount of points, so he's got that kind of game in him. And he's leading the NBA in minutes per game. So we know they're more than comfortable playing Max Strus a ton.
Yeah. All right, let's move to San Antonio and Phoenix. San Antonio, no real injuries to report here, just missing their G League guys. Phoenix, Bradley Beal still out with the lower back spasms. Devin Booker listed doubtful with the left ankle sprain. This stuff is lingering on the Phoenix side of the equation. Mm-hmm. They've gotten through the early part of the schedule well in the absence of those two with a heavy, heavy workload for Kevin Durant. What are your expectations for how Phoenix looks tonight?
Yeah, they're not going to have Booker. They're doubtful with him. He's getting closer. Bradley Beal's still out, ramping up a little bit. He's actually doing some shooting right now as we're recording this. I saw some Suns beats on that. So, yeah, should get the same starting lineup of Grayson Allen, Eric Gordon, Nurk, Josh Okogie, and Kevin Durant. Certainly that second unit with Goodwin being the backup point. They're going to bring a little bit of Nazir Little. We know Yuta Watanabe has been more of a 3. And then Eubanks should cover most, if not all, the non-Nurk center minutes because they're just kind of so thin in the backcourt. But Eric Gordon kind of bounced back against a terrible, terrible Jazz defense. Jazz were 29th in offense there. But it should just be a run it back situation against a pretty bad defense in San Antonio. They are the worst rim defense per possession, getting just completely killed down there despite Victor Wembanyama's impact on who he guards. But Kevin Durant, is he going to get Wemby? Because we've seen Wemby kind of clamp guys. That'll be kind of fun to watch against, Wembanyama got the KD comparisons. Kevin Durant is one of the most unstoppable players ever from a one-on-one standpoint. So it'd be fun to see how that happens. I think that's how they're going to match up. And it's going to be fun to see if Durant, how he kind of combats that length.
Any other notes on the San Antonio side of the equation? No injury-related notes there. Although I should note, I guess Devontae Graham is off suspension. I don't think it didn't look like he was trending to being in the rotation during the preseason, so I don't think it's a big deal. But just wanted to note it is one more body available than they had previously.
No, he was subbing in except for one game he got in there for the third quarter, but every other game he was subbing in pretty much straight fourth. And Malachi Branham seems to be pretty locked. They like Jetty Osman behind Wemby. Obviously, he's not going to leapfrog Trey Jones. So I think this rotation is pretty much set. Charles Bassey's been playing well there. So I can't imagine. Maybe he leapfrogs Jetty Osman. I kind of doubt it because Jetty Osman kind of has leapfrogged Doug McDermott. So, I think that Devontae is just kind of an emergency depth there.
Yeah. This is the Spurs' third game, or have they played 4 games? Someone asked if Devontae Graham was available last game. I knew he was suspended for the first 2 games of the season. I'm just track tracking. Oh, so he was available last game. That was their third game last game. So correct. Okay. My mistake there. Thank you, Ozzy and chat, for noting. Orlando and the Clippers. No injury report filed for Orlando there on the second night of back-to-back. Don't think there's too much to be on the lookout there for. Perhaps Gary Harris. He's a guy that they've managed. Maybe Jonathan Isaac. Maybe some of the back end, reserve pieces could be managed a little bit. But they're playing fairly limited roles on the whole, so I think it's pretty low risk there. The Clippers side, though, is obviously very interesting post-trade. On the injury report as well, Norm Powell and Ivica Zubac's both questionable. So if they're without those guys, it gets really, really crazy thin. As we don't expect James Harden to be available, obviously, tonight. So what are your thoughts on what the Clippers look like tonight without Robert Covington, KJ Martin, Marcus Morris is out, Terrence Mann is out, so on and so forth?
Yeah, it's gross. So going to the starter, I think it's between 2 guys, and that's Norm Powell and Amir Coffey. They'd like to start Amir Coffey. We know they like Norm Powell off the bench. They brought him off the bench for way worse players than Amir Coffey. So I think they're going to bring Norm off the bench. He'll get a real early sub, probably for Paul George. Tyler had mentioned they want to really run Norm and Westbrook together for when those guys are out there, and then run Bones Highland with Kawhi and Paul George. We've seen the sub patterns kind of work out that way. So all those guys I mentioned are going to be a big part. Again, this is assuming Norm Powell's in. If Norm Powell's out, I feel pretty confident that they have to start Amir Coffey, and then they are getting real thin. We'll see Kobe Brown get minutes. I guess just to talk through the rest of it, Bones is going to overlap with what Russ. We saw them overlap even before they were kind of in dire straits that they were now. Kawhi certainly big enough to play a lot of 4 as well. So, I think just if Norm and Zoo are in, we could feel pretty good about the roles for Bones still. I think he'd probably be getting, around 20 in a pretty big usage role there. And then, next guys in after those guys, obviously Plumlee will be in, but Diabate would be kind of next in. I mentioned Kobe Brown, who's got a lot of length and looked pretty good in Summer League there. Jordan Miller would probably sneak in if Norm's out. But, pretty thin here. But they do have their high-end talent as well. So maybe we see more minutes from Kawhi. They are also on a back-to-back. They play the Lakers in the national team. They also play the Lakers in a national TV game tomorrow. So
that was the note that I had here, which is, obviously a lot of the back-to-back rules and whatnot, a lot of people thought about the Clippers as one of the very first teams that they thought about being impacted with this stuff. Here they are acquiring James Harden, thinning out the roster on the front end of the back-to-back in advance of a national TV game with the crosstown rival. it feels like tonight might be like a try to get through it the best you can. As opposed to in the past, I think we would have assumed that they'd go real heavy here and then just sit, some guys tomorrow. They certainly can't sit both, right? So they would have to come up with legitimate injuries for the players to miss, because Paul George and Kawhi could both not sit in the same game based on the rules. So it'll be interesting to see tonight if the minutes workload does increase for those guys. I don't think it's necessarily going to get managed. I just think that the difference is in the past, we'd be pretty comfortable being like, oh, there's 38 in here for them. I don't know if there is on the front end of the back-to-back. If it was more likely for one than the other, I think it would be Paul George than Kawhi, but just my thoughts there. What do you think the high end range is for the Clippers guys tonight?
37s, maybe.
Okay.
And then maybe they dial it back tomorrow. But I have to look at their minutes. I haven't looked there yet, but I think they kind of have to. And then maybe just cross your fingers that, well, what are the chances Harden's playing tomorrow? Is this reconditioning tag total BS?
I think pretty good. I think we'll see James tomorrow night.
Yeah, I think so too. So I think they can maybe push him a little bit today, maybe dial one of them back. But they're healthy now. We've seen full workloads. They were running 21-minute halves in the preseason. So these guys are feeling pretty good. Luckily, it's early part of the year. So I think they're going to try to push it. They've been off for a couple of days too. I think that maybe helps a little bit. Oh no, they went Sunday, so they've been off, not a back-to-back. So I think they're okay. So I think they'll probably play them pretty good bit. And then sticking with the suspension stuff, Josh Primo is serving the last game of his suspension, so they won't have him. Okay. He's facing game 4 of his 4-game suspension.
All right, that'll do it. Quick edition of today's Established Run NBA Injury Report Analysis Show. As always, if you're enjoying the content that we're providing, please consider subscribing to this YouTube channel. Get notifications whenever we go live. Monday through Fridays, whenever there's NBA games, 2 p.m. Eastern is the time. But you can get that notification by subscribing whenever we're live as well. If you also would help us by pressing or smashing or gently caressing that like button, it helps feed the algorithm, which of course helps feed our families and allows us to feed you the NBA injury information analysis you need to set your DFS lineups, make your spread bets or your prop bets. So please consider pushing, smashing, pressing that like button and helping.
I think we lost Dink. Lost you, I think. Or me.
Okay. You want to wrap this up?
There we go. You're back. Yeah. So in case you haven't checked out our
perfect timing.
Stuff, and you're lagging. Okay. I'm going to wrap it up. So yeah, check out our player props, and we appreciate you guys. Catch you guys next week.